In 2005, donor countries agreed on an accord to harmonize their practices. Since then, aid officials have complained that too little has changed on the ground. Conferences of donors in developing countries still tend to be dominated by a small group of North European governments, with the US often absent.
It's not that human activities didn't impact wildlife at all, of course. Heavily hunted species, like white-tailed deer, gray squirrels, and raccoons, were photographed somewhat less often in hunted areas. Coyotes showed up more often in hunted areas. While most species didn't avoid hiking trails, the predators actually preferred them.
For the purposes of argument, culture is divided into material and non-material, and the speaker's aim is to show how they both affect each other. Material developments in tools and technology can affect non-material culture, our customs and beliefs, and the other way around. Genetics is used as an example as it has changed the way we think about life, but also our beliefs have affected its rate of development.
Usually, age is determined by physical characteristics, such as teeth or bones. Great, if you have a body. Researchers have tried unsuccessfully to use blood. But in this study, the scientists used immune cells called T cells. T cells recognize invaders through receptors that match molecules on bacteria, viruses, even tumors. The cellular activity that produces these receptors also produces a type of circular DNA molecule as a byproduct.
A recent trend in the entertainment world is to adapt classic works of literature for either TV or movies. One argument is that this is to everyone's benefit, as it introduces people to works they might otherwise never have, but is rarely done successfully.
Since its inception, the UN system has been working to ensure adequate food for all through sustainable agriculture. The majority of the world's poorest people live in rural areas of developing countries. They depend on agriculture and related activities for their livelihoods. This makes them particularly vulnerable to man-made and natural influences that reduce agricultural production.
Participants were not performing an actual purchase. Participants were not performing an actual purchase.
The professor will be the latest speaker this evening. The professor will be the latest speaker this evening.
Fatigue is a factor in the significant proportion of road accidents. Fatigue is a factor in the significant proportion of road accidents.
A science-based approach is vital for effective advancements. A science-based approach is vital for effective advancements.
Eating too much will do harm to your health. Eating too much will do harm to your health.
It provides an opportunity to work with other disciplines. It provides an opportunity to work with other disciplines.
Residential enclosed to the academic building. Residential enclosed to the academic building.
The plight of wildlife has been ignored by developers. The plight of wildlife has been ignored by developers.
You will be informed of the results by email. You will be informed of the results by email.
Junk food's popularity relies on marketing. Junk food's popularity relies on marketing. Aim for a healthy weight is illustrated in the following graph. For adults, a BMI graph. The body mass index data is displayed on the graph. The weight ranges from 30 kilos to 150 kilograms, and the height ranges from 140 to 200 centimeters. Above BMI 30, it is obvious that the majority of people are obese. Next, overweight people often reside in the BMI range of 25 to 30, followed by people who are extremely overweight. Lastly, it is underweight and below the BMI of 18.5. The facts on body mass is summarized in this graph.
Information on the structure is provided in the graph below. This picture is incredibly lovely and depicts a variety of topics. This graph indicates that there is a building with a white exterior in the center. From this graph, you can see that there is a little, black temple in the right corner. From this graph, you can see that the sky, which is blue, is in the distance. Sunny conditions prevail. There is a clear, blue sky. In conclusion, this image is incredibly educational.
The graph that follows provides data on fish and the moon. The fish are down at the sea floor, as we can see for the first quarter moon. Fish in the middle of the sea start to swim higher as they progress to the following stage. The fish are then dispersed into the sea during a full moon. The fish are finally found close to the sea's surface for the final quarter moon phase. In conclusion, the image demonstrates the strong kinship between fish and the moon.
Two national flags are described in the graph below. The original national flag has a red rectangle on the left and is composed of the colors green, white, and black from top to bottom. The color scheme is the same in the second national flag. However, the colors are red, white, and black from top to bottom, with a green triangle on the left. The two national flags are, in conclusion, quite different in composition and shape yet quite similar in color.
All of my research and that I conducted was my 60+ graduate students, was motivated by their need to learn, so that we can teach. Of course, some inventions happened along the way, but I've always considered the end the result. And I always consider that this invention to be byproduct, byproducts of the learning process. The end product for me was always better understanding, or when one really succeeded in unifying theory that can help us in teaching the subject. I've also looked at teaching as a vehicle to try new ideas, of new ways to doing things on an intelligent group of learners. That is as the vehicle for the teaching research results. And in my experience, this kind of teaching is the most stimulated and motivating to students. I am also uncovered many interesting research problems is the cause of teaching assumption. It is this unity of research and teaching, their close connection and the benefits gathered by exercising and the interplay that to me recognized the successful professor.
We have briefly looked at some of the problems involved in running a big-ish city like, say, Melbourne, keeping the road and rail systems running, policing, providing food and housing, and so on. In another lecture, I'm going to deal with what we must know: megalopolis, cities with populations of 10 million or more. However, first I want to go back in history to when the population of cities could be numbered in the thousands rather than millions. One of the earliest theorists of the city was, of course, Plato, who created an ideal city in his text, The Republic. The population of this city would be around 25 to 30,000 at most. Oddly enough, the same figures were chosen by Leonardo da Vinci for his ideal cities. Now, of these 25 to 30 inhabitants, only about 5,000 would be citizens. A reason for this might be that it is the largest number that could be addressed publicly at one time and by one person, and makes a voting system much easier to manage. Also, perhaps the numbers are kept deliberately low because a large population would be harder to control, or because, in practical terms, fewer inhabitants are easier to feed from local supplies without having to depend on outside sources.
Sleep enjoyed in the afternoon. Siesta or nap? Sleep enjoyed in the afternoon. Siesta or nap?
A disease which spreads by contact. A disease which spreads by contact.
An animal living both on land and water? An animal living both on land and water?
A great lover of books? A great lover of books?
What is someone that can't see called? What is someone that can't see called?
What do you call the middle of something? What do you call the middle of something?
If you like our video, kindly subscribe our channel and also press below bell icon. Thank you.